Bort? Oh, come on, Bort?
Mommy, buy me a license plate!
No, come along, Bort.
Hello and welcome to the Bort Experience. I am your host, Cody Galat, and today we are on episode 14, but episode 1 of season 2 of The Simpsons, Bart Gets an F. First, I just want to say thank you so much. I'm up to 130 subscribers. Last video got over 100 views, so thank you so much for supporting the podcast, the Bort Experience, and I just am so excited to get started on season 2 and continue on this journey. So this episode, Bart Gets an F, originally aired on Fox in the United States on October 11th, 1990. It was directed by David Silverman, written by David M. Stern. The chalkboard gag, I will not encourage others to fly. We also have technically a second one within the episode where the teacher's making Bart write, I will not fake my way through life, which I found very funny, just kind of with him faking a lot of things throughout the episode. The couch gag, the family sits on the couch and it falls through the floor and Homer says dough. This season in the intro, we actually get Mr. Burns like kind of checking his watch when it goes off early or quitting time. We also get kind of more characters as Bart's skateboarding through the town. We also have like that kind of panorama shot where we see a lot of Springfield, the characters of the town. So it definitely feels more into it than the first season did. So I love that. And then and speaking of characters, I feel like this episode had a ton of characters that we've seen in the past, which is fantastic, and that's kind of what the Simpsons are known for, or not only the main core family, but just the extended characters that are a lot of fun. So the episode summary, Bart fails a test and is told he has one more chance to pass it or else he'll be held back a year. Bart tries to get the class genius Martin Prince to help him, but after that fails, Bart prays for help. That night, Springfield is hit with a massive blizzard, and the school is closed, giving Bart one more day to study. Despite his desperate attempts, Bart fails the test again. While crying, he mentions an obscure historical event, and Mrs. Krabappel, noting that he applied practical knowledge, gives him a one bonus credit point, and he passes with a D. So that's kind of like the quick summary. This one really spoke to me because when I was in elementary school, I struggled. I had dyslexia, so it was very hard for me to read. My first and second grade teachers were both substitutes. Like those women had children. I think I might have mentioned this in a previous episode. But yeah, I had a lot of bullying, a lot of learning disability. So I'm not sure if they ever say he has like ADD or ADHD or whatever the proper terminology is, or if he just has a learning disability. But as someone that did go through that, this episode really spoke to me because I remember, when you had spelling tests, and I sucked at those so bad, and I would have to study like every day. And it wasn't even like I was really like learning how to spell the word. It was just, I was just trying to memorize like doctor or, something that is like a simple word, but I always had trouble with B's and P's. So even today, like if I'm typing or texting, sometimes I'll be like, I'll put, but I meant butts, or vice versa, or just other words like, butter start with a P for some reason. And then after I look at it for a minute, I'm like, wait a minute, that's not right. So it was very challenging. I feel like with spell check and voice to text, that helps for someone like me, like so much. But I understand the the emotion of Bart because, I got very emotional too whenever like I couldn't pass or I failed a test or it just struggled, and it was very miserable. It made school not fun at all for me. I say once I got into middle school, I didn't have to worry about spelling tests. That helped a lot. And then I actually, made honor roll. And then like, when I graduated college, I was like cum laude. So like, I think a lot of times people think if you can't do certain things in school, you're an idiot. And that's not always the case. There could just be other skills that you're good at. And I like that Bart actually tries. I also like kind of, his parents kind of understand and actually celebrate him when he does get a D, which I know is not a big accomplishment. I know I've known some people where their parents are like, if you don't get A's, you're pretty much like pathetic or a loser. So it's good to know and see a family that like supports their son that is struggling. And I feel like if you have a kid and they aren't doing well, they definitely need more help. But I know school funding is an issue, and that's why like a lot of times, even for my personal life, I'm like, I think my own son, I would rather him be homeschooled or have a personal tutor rather than him in a classroom of 20 to 25 students, and if he is struggling, not getting that help that he needs, but still being able to socialize and play sports and all that kind of thing. So this episode really spoke to me. I also found it pretty funny, actually. I think it was a strong start for season two. There was like a dream sequence where Bart is trying, like, has a dream about the founding fathers. There's after it snows when he prays to God, and there's a blizzard. We see Mayor Quimby for the first time, who's kind of like that, like Ted Kennedy, or the Kennedy. He's like a very Kennedy type politician, who later in later seasons and episodes you could tell he like sleeps around, like JFK and stuff like that. Um, he announces like, "Hey, this is known as Snow Day, and it's the greatest day of Springfield history." And Bart is so tempted to want to go play outside, but of course, Lisa kind of says, "Hey, I don't know what God is," and even now they're kind of playing with the idea that she might be an atheist or maybe doesn't know what it is, the power of this universe. What you know. I'm not really a religious person, but even if you are, I think everyone asks these kind of questions. And she said, "Hey, if you prayed and this happened, you should probably answer whatever that is in the universe." And I commend Bart for his ability to really try, because I think it's easy if you're like the class clown to kind of just coast. And then I remember, this is kind of like a side tangent a little bit, but I remember this kid, when you used to take those standardized tests and you had those like little square, like blank boxes to either write your essay. I remember they just drew pictures, and I think they got like zeros on it. And it's just like, some kids, they just do it to be funny, or they actually do need help learning. Either case, I think those people need to be looked after, but unfortunately, in society, it doesn't value that. And then also with the rise of I don't know how learning is going to be valued or not valued in the future, because it's almost like that kind of argument of like, if I don't need to know how to do any kind of math because I have a calculator on my phone or in my pocket, and then now it's going to be like, well, I don't need to be able to do anything because AI will just tell me what to do, which I feel like AI can be a very useful tool. But then also, if you rely too heavily on it, then how are you going to interact in social situations? How are you going to be able to think critically? So it's an interesting world that we live in now, where I don't think a lot of people are fully understanding the repercussions of what the world's going to bring. But like I said, kind of a side tangent, but overall, really strong episode. It wasn't super high on, I mean, there was some really great jokes, but it wasn't like a super joke heavy episode. It was definitely more of just a great start of a season, and they've really kind of matured as a show. You can tell, not only with the animation looks a little bit better, but also just the storyline I thought was really well done. And I liked it. I can't wait to get more into the season. So next we have the Citizens of Springfield. We have the main cast. We have Dan Castanella as Homer Simpson, Barney Gumble, Principal Skinner, and others. Julie Carvener as Marge Simpson, Nancy Cartwright as Bart Simpson, Nelson Muntz, and other kids. We have Yardley Smith as Lisa Simpson, Harry Shearer as Ned Flanders, Mr. Burns, Smithers, Otto, Kent Brockman, and others. And we have Hank Azaria as Mo Sizlak, Chief Wiggum. And then guest star, we have Marcy Wallace as Edna Krabappel, which I don't know if that's the main voice actor or not for her. I can't remember. I'll have to look that up. We have Russ Taylor as Martin Prince, Bart's classmate. And then, yep. So those are the characters. Like I said, this episode was like packed full. Like especially the scene where it had just snowed and then everyone's having a great time. It was kind of crazy to see Mr. Burns actually happy after Homer hits him with a snowball. I feel like Burns' character definitely changes and gets more of that kind of grumpy release the hounds vibe. But maybe it was just such a great day. His heart grew, you know? So I just thought that was kind of interesting. So the MVP of the episode, of course, we've been talking about him a lot already, is Bart. I feel like this was a great episode to showcase, you know, not only his personality but his perseverance and him like even willingness to be like, hey, I don't want to be held back, even though I'm an underachiever. I want to, you know, actually pass this test. That's why he tries to get Martin to help him, but in a twisted kind of irony, he like corrupts Martin, and Martin becomes more of like a Bart type character, which doesn't last, of course, but it's just interesting that even when he does seek help, he has all these external like factors that are like almost against him, where Martin doesn't pan out. His dad wants him to watch a movie about a big ape. Almost seems very similar to like Kong or something, but it's just he just really tried to persevere, and it kind of like just showed a deeper understanding of this character, excuse me, than we had in the past. So it was just, you know, lovely to see, and I thought he did really well. And I also think the other family members really shined in this episode, like where they didn't have big moments, but they just kind of tried to support Bart. And then, you know, once he did pass, which I don't know if D's are actually passing in school now. I think in college you still get credit, but I don't know. It's been a while, but I didn't think D's really were passing for grade school, but they could be. But you know, overall, like I said, Bart is the MVP of the episode. The best joke, when Bart is having his dream sequence about the founding fathers, and then it starts snowing, and then they all run out into the snow. One of the delegates says, "Hey, look, everybody, John Hancock's writing his name in the snow." I don't know why. I just found that line so funny. It's like one of those like kind of throwaway lines, and you're kind of have to. It doesn't show it, but you're just kind of left with the inference of like, how is he writing his name in the snow? And it's of course it's John Hancock, you know, the founding father who, you know, hey, write your John. You know, it just means your signature. At least in America, you know, people will know that. So I just thought it was hilarious. And then we come up on our trivia. Sorry if this is a little bit quicker of an episode. I just got back out of town, so I'm just trying to watch the episode and record, but I'm still having a great time. Let's see. Okay, this one is another Halloween themed one, so let's enjoy. So, what is the name of Bart's deformed twin brother in a Treehouse of Horror episode? Again, what is the name of Bart's deformed twin brother in a Treehouse of Horror episode? Answer? Hugo, which is a great. I think that might be the first Treehouse of Horror, or maybe the second one. I'll have to look more into it, but I'm pretty sure we should be getting a Treehouse of Horror episode this season, I believe. So I'm really excited about that. I've kind of talked about it before on our last trivia, that the Treehouse of Horror episodes are great because it just kind of it's like usually 3 anthology, you know, parts, and they get to kind of, I feel like the writers and the director get their imagination to go wild, and it's like, hey, normally we kind of have this confined, like more realistic sitcom, but now we can do like crazy things. And you know, where Bart has a evil twin brother. I remember one where Ned Flanders is the devil. They have the aliens come, so it's just great. So excuse me. But overall, great episode. Please like and subscribe. Please leave comments down below. I like reading those. We have some great people who will comment and like, and then also just follow me on social media if you ever want to kind of reach out and communicate that way. But until next time, peace out.